Welcome back to the F1 2018 career mode here, guys, and join me for the Japanese Grand Prix. And you may have seen in the little news video that you saw, big shock exit. Hamilton leaves Formula One, promotes Bottas to #1 driver here at Mercedes, and of course we contractually obliged when we joined Williams last year as the Mercedes reserve driver to step in to the team, and we have signed in for the end of next season. So we're coming in to the team on the back foot. Hamilton wasn't wrong with what he said. You know, the team is underperforming. There's no doubts about that. We were within 5 points of Vettel in the driver standings. Force India is the top team with Ferrari and Red Bull just behind them. Then Renault, then ourselves. The benefit that we've got into coming into this team is they have done all upgrades for their quality assurance. So it basically means any upgrade I do for the next however long is not going to fail. So we need to get the resource points on early and develop the car in the area that needs the most development. The engine is okay. You see, we're mid-table. Of course, Force India are running away with things. We're very much mid-table here. So I'm going to look into getting the engine to where it needs to be. Chassis, again, we're mid-table. Not too bad. Aero, not too bad. Let's get into quali.
Welcome to the only figure-of-8 track on the F1 calendar. We're here at Suzuka for qualifying today ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix.
So we're turning our first lap, or laps. No, this is our first lap in anger. It's going to be one and only because I personally think this lap went quite well. It's at Suzuka, max fuel, hot lap mode. Here we go, throwing the Mercedes down towards turn 1 at Suzuka. I love this circuit, just maximum commitment, and then you got to just slow it down and bring it through. And I think that personally went very well, using a bit of curb on the exit as well as you head up towards the Degner now. 28.4 first sector, clipping the inside Degner and then getting it slowed down. Our angle wasn't brilliant for Degner too, but we carried a lot of speed, so I'm hoping that really hasn't hurt us too much. Then through the hairpin. You want to open it up really and get yourself the best exit possible out of there. This isn't really the best example. Raikkonen leading the way on a 26.8. We are coming down now towards the second sector split. How far off are we? It's about 8/10, which, to be honest, like I said, for the amount of the performance down this Mercedes, hasn't it? I'm not too surprised. Braking just after the 100-meter ball, clout the first curb, and then over the second. I've compromised myself on exit a little bit there, but we're going to charge towards the line. DRS open. It's 1.3 down. It's not great. It's the best I personally think I could do. We do better on race day. Let's get into it.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix, an event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012. We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at a wet and windy Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with Sector 1 likely to prove especially difficult in these conditions. We should see overtaking into turns 1 and 16 today, and maybe a few Kobayashi-style dives into the hairpin as well. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, edging out Raikkonen, who'll start P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Gasly, Carlos Sainz, and Ricciardo. The captain, Hülkenberg, Verstappen, and Fernando Alonso. Stroll, Van Dorn, Valtteri Bottas, and Sirotkin, Ericsson, Hartley, Kevin Magnussen, and Sergio Perez. Leclerc and Roman Grosjean starts from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
5 races remaining and you've still got a chance of winning the World Drivers' title. Let's grab a solid points finish.
Might have compromised my chances of winning that by joining Mercedes, but nonetheless, we line up P7 today, which honestly, better than I expected, because that would imply we're the 4th best team. But you can see here with the race, it's going to be drizzly and wet at the start. We're starting on the intermediates, and then there's going to be a dry period for a longer period of time, and then we're going to go back to the inters. I had a lot of trouble in practice and getting the rear to stick, so I'm following the ethos that I did in Russia with the Force India, which is set the setup to be more rear focused on downforce, where I always used to be. I used to put the settings to basically make the front turn in. Now I've got it set a bit more understeery, so I can basically have a car that's planted on the rear. That allows me to attack more through the center S's, because the first sector here is my strong point. Let's try and make some positions up off the start as we build with the lights in Japan. 5 red lights at Suzuka. Lights are out and away we go. We have Pierre Gasly and Sainz ahead of us there, so that's a surprise for Gasly qualifying that high. We've bogged down. We've got Hulkenberg to our right, Verstappen to our left. We're down to 9th. We swing around the outside of Hulkenberg. We've lost a lot of grip. We've clouted Daniel Ricciardo. I don't think we've taken any damage off that, and we've actually accelerated quite nicely out of that corner. We're up the inside of Sainz into the S's, and we're also up the inside of the returning Esteban Ocon, who started P3, taking his seat back after he was unceremoniously dumped from Force India when I got to move up there. So looks like one of the Ferraris leads. I can't quite tell which one at the moment, quite comfortably. Then Pierre Gasly in P3. We've taken up P4 after some rough and tumble in the first opening few corners there. We're taking it very nice and easy through the camber in the Degners, and we now lead up towards the hairpin. Is Ocon going to try and make a big heroic Kobayashi style dive into there? I think not. I briefly caught the name tag as to which Ferrari's in second place, but I couldn't quite read it there, unfortunately. We may move on to the end of lap 2. My pace is non-existent, unfortunately. You know, the Ferraris and the Toro Rosso have headed off into the distance. I've drifted through the spoon curve as we now charge down. We have Sainz in our slipstream as we head up towards 130R. Is he going to try and make a move on us? Down the inside of 130R in intermediate conditions. That's a bold move from Sainz, and he backs out of it. He was the car that was ahead, but realised there he probably wasn't going to make it as we now break into the chicane. Vettel setting the pace on a 44.1 there, so he's definitely accelerating. What's our lap time? It's a 44.0, so sorry, that was a 41 from Vettel, not a 44. So we're well and truly off the pace. We've gone into the 43s, but Ocon's attacking us now on lap 4, and he's easily got past me. We're going to duck into his slipstream and go up to hot lap mode. We ease off a little bit through 130. I'll try and get the best run. We look to the right, or look to the left and down the right, very late on the brakes versus Ocon, with a little bit of contact on the way through. We've successfully retained, or regained, P4, shall I say, but Gasly, surprisingly, with his pace. But now Ocon's going to try and have a go into turn 1. We pull to the right-hand side. Just look at the speed of that Force India there as we drift in. There was a bit of contact on the front end. We drift through turn 1 and through turn 2. Ocon's gone out wide and through that small bit of contact. Sainz now on my outside as we try and fight him off. We squeeze him slightly through the S's. We get a replay of our wonderful drift through turns 1 and 2. No idea how we kept the car going at that point. I'm not too sure how the contact came about for Ocon there. He just left himself too far on the outside, and you saw as well, you probably saw, DRS enabled going down the pit straight, so clearly the weather apparently good enough for dry tyres. We're getting offered a swap to super softs here by our engineer to then go to soft compound tyres. I was thinking potentially about going to the end of the race, but of course there is that fear of rain coming down near the end, so I didn't want to be stuck running myself on a harder compound of dry tyre before swapping back to intermediate. So we're going to come in and do what the team have said. We're going to go to super soft tyres, and then we're going to go to hopefully drag that out until the rain comes down again. We're losing a bit of time in the pit lane though, due to cars coming in to change those tyres. Ocon is still behind us on the inters. We've got a Alfa Romeo ahead of me. Alonso coming out. So where are we about to come out? There would have been cars that would have been able to pit early because of DRS enabled. So they've come in a lap early. They're thundering down the pit straight now. We've got a Toro Rosso and Sergio Perez battling into turn 1. Perez has come out P9, so he's had an extra lap on his dry tyres. He's going to have more confidence on them, and they are going to be up to temperature, whereas we need to try and find our feet here through the first sector. Car feeling not great as we try and get heat into the tyres and just gain our confidence levels, and we're just very delicate on the throttle, not able to put the power down really as we go up the hill. And now we're into the power section, and unfortunately we are down on power versus our good friend Sergio Perez. Leclerc still up in P6 on the intermediate tyre as Perez going to try and take a look down the inside. We've run it out wide and we've been able to sort of keep it there. So the grip is coming to us ever so slightly, and the lap times are going to tumble Cars are in the pits now to swap their tyres. Are we going to have retained P4? I'm hoping so. Perez with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We do retain P4. Gasly's 10 seconds up the road. Perez, trying to have a go at me into turn 1, has clouted straight into the rear of my car. And that's I've carried far too much speed through turn 2. I've had to come or go off the circuit. Perez, they're trying to make another move. Very aggressive from the Force India driver. Maybe he was thinking he's more deserving of the Mercedes seat. And there's a yellow flag up ahead as one of the Ferraris. It looks like Kimi Raikkonen has slowed down. Gasly through. Gasly in the lofty heights of P2 at the moment in the Toro Rosso. Raikkonen moving slowly down the back straight towards 130, or he has to have a puncture of some description. He's not out of the Grand Prix. Vettel sets the fastest lap on the 33.6. We are coming through 130R now, and we've actually built up a gap to Sergio Perez, so he must have taken front wing damage in one of his clouts against us. Speaking of clouts, we're going to clout the bollards going across the curbs at the chicane there, but it's been a very scrappy race. We've sort of had to get our elbows out and show that we do deserve this position at Mercedes, and we're trying to obviously get it to loftier heights than it probably should be, because they've been finishing sort of around P7 and below recently, whereas we have an opportunity right now to finish on the podium as Vettel sets the fast lap again on the 31.8, and we've got another Toro Rosso of Brendan Hartley running in 4th. I don't know where Toro Rosso have found this absolute just boatload of speed from, but good on them, as they're performing much better than Red Bull are, as we've attacked the curbs on the chicane. We're now going to see what the lap time is as a result of that. We're into the 32s, a 3-second improvement from us. We're still like well over a second of Vettel's pace. But, you know, we're pushing the car, and it's only lap 9 at the moment. You can see as we're running very wide with that. Actually, the front end of the car does grip, so now we've actually got confidence in the dry, and the tyres are up to temperature, albeit there is some drizzle in the air once again. You can probably see it there, so the dry certainly hasn't lasted long, so we're going to be back on the inters sooner rather than later, as it's a PB, a 32.2. Ocon now is back up into P4, and he's going to be chasing us down at a vast rate of knots, because that Force India is the superior car, and Ocon's going to have a point to prove, considering he's been out of Formula 1 for a little while now.
The track is getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now, though. It'll be much slower if we move on to inters this early.
So the team getting to me here there about the tyre compound. You can just see the loss of grip. It's going to be Sector 1 that we're going to be most impacted on in these conditions right now, because of course the Super Soft don't last too long around here, and we're going to be taking some pain by being on those tyres. And you can see there as we took a big chunk of curve through the Degners. As the track's getting wetter, we're getting less and less grip. So we're now on to lap 13, coming out the spoon curve, and we're going to set inters to come in next time around, as Ocon breezes past me on the outside line through 130R. So Ocon, unfortunately, has got through, as we're both going to come diving into the pits at the end of lap 13 now. We have first pit box though, so we're hoping, if it's a good stop, which it is, 2.3 by the Mercedes boys. Can we jump back ahead of him? Yes, we can. The Mercedes boys with a fabulous pit stop there, getting us back ahead of Esteban Ocon and back into a net P3, as Valtteri coming in for his second pit stop of the race, back onto the intermediates. It is scheduled to be dry for the remainder of the Grand Prix, or sorry, wet for the remainder of the Grand Prix, so we're probably going to carry these inters all the way to the end. So, I mean, we're pretty good at that. You saw me take a set of intermediate tyres 20 laps at Russia last time out, but that, of course, was on the Force India, which had a bit more downforce and a better chassis. Can we do a similar sort of stint here in the Mercedes? We're once again getting ourselves reacclimatised to the wet weather, and we've got zero grip once again, as I've had to go wide in spoon, and then we come back onto the circuit. Ocon all over me here. He's much faster at the moment, and he's going to be attacking me probably down into 130R, because that Force India in a straight line is an absolute bullet, and you're going to see him try, lift up, rightfully so. We've gone wide because of how little grip that we've got there, and just zero confidence in these conditions. I can't slow the car down. I can't get it turned in without fighting the car. We've had poor traction now out of the chicane, and that's probably going to leave Ocon to be able to go into our slipstream and annihilate us into turn 1. We're going to try and defend. We're on the racing line for right now. We move across, but Ocon's just got so much extra speed. He's well ahead of me. Just a couple of car lengths clear into turn 1, but he has gone wide. We're going to dive it back up the inside. It was a bit punchy from my perspective, but Ocon left the door open, and we came past him just as a VSC came out later on into the lap. VSC over, back up to racing speed. Gasly's long gone down the road, so this is the fight for P3, and I kind of do want Gasly to get a lovely position, as you see over the curb, no grip, sliding the car once more, costing us more speed, more momentum, and that's going to mean Ocon once again. He looks like he's closer than the lap before. He's going to try and have a go. He pulled to the outside there, and that's the move he needed to make before, rather than trying to go down the inside of 130R, the outside. Much more reliable line. And Ocon has got through, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do into the chicane, and we get so little bite on traction out of the chicane. Ocon clearly through now, unfortunately. He's going to take P3 away, and we're back down to P4. No more pit stops left in this race for me to try and regain that position from him, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to see what we can do for the rest of this race in regards to sticking with him, really, and just trying to hang on to P4 as we go very wide. We carried too much speed through the first turn, but end of lap 20 now, and you just see the pink dot of the Force India has just disappeared. We're going to come across the line momentarily, and Ocon has already pulled out 10 seconds on me. He's chasing after Pierre Gasly for P2, and now Alonso has moved into P5 in the McLaren. So he's punching well above that car's weight as well. And with me making mistakes in turn 2 like you've just seen there, there's no reason why Alonso can't be on me. And do you know what? By the end of lap 22, he pretty much is. You can see him in my mirrors there. Brendan Hartley has slowed down and disappeared off of the chasing pack, unfortunately. So poor news for Toro Rosso, but Alonso now less than a second behind me, and he's going to be my main competition for the rest of the race. I'm just trying to stop making mistakes and just bring the car home at this point. I think P4 in this underperforming Mercedes would be quite good, actually, but you can just see we're fighting the car through the chicane. The car does not want to ride the curbs in any way, shape or form, and Alonso now, even with the Renault engine in the back of that McLaren, he's going to try and have a go into turn 1. We squeeze him towards the pit wall, but the wily old veteran not going to give an inch. Can we hold it around the outside of turn 1? Yes, we can. Can we just keep it with enough momentum through 2 to stay ahead? Answer, yes, we do. And Alonso has dropped back, and Perez has caught him and breezed past him in a straight line towards 130R, and that meant Perez, it didn't take him long to catch me. We're at Spoon on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and Perez up behind me. Going to try using the Mercedes power in the back of that Force India to breeze past me like his teammate Esteban Ocon did. He's not quite close enough, so we're just going to move slightly to the outside, force him to take the inside line. He lifts off. We're going to have to go a little bit wide, but successful defence number 1, and we just need to worry about him now on the last lap of the Grand Prix. Perez going to try it into 130R. He's turned up the wick. He's going to use maximum power going into the corner. On the last lap, he pushes me wide. We've had to go wide off the circuit. We've retained the position. The marshals haven't said anything about that initially. Normally, they're pretty quick to dish out, illegal overtakes, but I'm pretty sure they realised that was just avoiding action versus Perez, and we're somehow going to come across the line for P4 at Japan. Not great, but better than expected.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Here come our winning drivers then, out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling Grand Prix. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top 3 today.
Great work out there today. How do you think it went? You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Hard question to answer that one there. Just elbows out, really.
What triggered your move to a new team?
Time for a new challenge, and with Hamilton stepping down, it was best time to do so.
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
Potentially me, potentially the car. I think it's going to require a lot of work, though.
The weather was miserable today, but do you feel this was an advantage for you?
Not necessarily. My performance in the wet has never exactly been great.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So there you have it. Sebastian Vettel then, after his horrible race in Russia, wins in Japan by over 30 seconds. Pierre Gasly getting P2 for the Toro Rosso. Excellent drive from him from P4. Then Esteban Ocon on his return race to Formula 1 grabs P3 for Force India, was chasing him down hard in the final few laps. We then get P4 over a minute behind the Ferrari with Sergio Perez in 5th position there. And then comes Daniel Ricciardo, who did 3 stops, similar to Perez there in P6. Then Alonso, Leclerc, Hartley and Van Dorn round off the top 10. A lot of the guys there who started in the top 10 appear to have dropped down. I mean, Hulkenberg finished 13th, and then Valtteri Bottas somehow down in 14th place. A poor weekend for the number 1 driver, insert quotation marks, around fearing the beard of Valtteri Bottas there. As we move into the driver's side of things, you're going to see there that obviously Vettel is going to extend his lead over us in the driver's standings, and I'm willing to bet it's going to stay like that for the rest of the season. He's now 18 points ahead though, as Perez there now a further 21 behind me. Apologies, my math is all over the place at the moment there. You can see Force India still lead the way by 18 points. Of course, we're now with Mercedes and we are 50 points behind Red Bull Racing, so that is our target, to try and beat them for the remainder of the season. McLaren, though, due to Alonso's good finish, move ahead of Haas from 7th to 8th place. We now move in 825 resource points. What we have to play with. Can we really do a lot with that is the question. We can get a minor upgrade for the engine, but to be honest, the only minor upgrade that I can get is fuel consumption, and that's not really where I think I need to be developing. In all honesty, I think we need to mainly focus on engine power, and of course you can see that engine power is the middle train, or the middle tree, or the middle row in the powertrain tree. There's a lot of T words in there. That's the crankshaft, and that's obviously the next one for engine power. So that's the next one I'm looking at. So we're not going to spend any points this weekend. We're going to worry about that next time out. But guys, that has been the Japanese Grand Prix. I certainly hope you have enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy it, and comment any feedback down below. So yeah, we're with Mercedes now for at least until the end of Season 3. I do obviously need to get the series actually wrapped up, really, just because F1 2019 is coming out 2 months earlier than anticipated. It's coming out late in June. So yeah, got to get some work done. We're with Mercedes now. That's going to give me, you know, this season it's probably throwing away a title opportunity, but it does also mean that Season 3, 2020, we'll have a better chance of winning. I will see you all next time.